The outcome of Reform UK's stunning by-election victory in Sutton South East marks a seismic shift in the political landscape of Britain. It signals that the political establishment, once comfortably entrenched in their ivory towers, is in for a rude awakening. A party that, until recently, had been dismissed as a fringe contender has not only taken on the big players but emerged victorious in a clear display of electoral potency. If the political elite thought they could dismiss Reform UK as a passing fancy, this result proves otherwise. Reform UK, led by the unrelenting and unapologetic Nigel Farage, has demonstrated its ability to undermine the established order. With a decisive 44.5% of the vote in Sutton South East, Reform UK has shaken the very foundations of British politics. The fact that Farage's insurgent party has triumphed in a working-class ward in St Helens, traditionally a Labour stronghold, is an indication of the deep discontent that voters feel toward the mainstream political parties. The result is unequivocal. Reform UK is tapping into a sense of frustration, and its growing influence cannot be ignored. While the mainstream media, along with the political establishment, are quick to dismiss Reform UK as a one-trick pony or a protest vote vehicle, the reality is that this victory represents something much deeper. This isn't a May blip on the radar. This is the emergence of a serious political force capable of pulling votes not just from the Tories, but also from Labour and the Liberal Democrats. It's a party that has found its niche among voters who feel abandoned by the so-called progressive parties of Britain. In Sutton, Reform UK's candidate, John Pinnington, emerged victorious by appealing directly to the working-class voters who no longer see their interests represented by Labour or the Lib Dems. The very fact that these voters rejected the likes of Labour and the Lib Dems, parties that once claimed to represent their voices, speaks volumes about the level of alienation felt by ordinary Britons. The decline of the Liberal Democrats is especially noteworthy. In Sutton, the Lib Dems, once the party of choice for disillusioned voters looking for an alternative to the Big Two, saw their support crash by a staggering 34.7%. Sir Ed Davey's party has failed to capture the imagination of the electorate, unable to deliver on promises of change and progress. The party's inability to make meaningful inroads in traditionally Labour-held areas, and its failure to connect with voters on the ground, is now painfully apparent. Reform UK has filled the void, offering a starkly different vision of Britain, one that promises a departure from the broken system, rather than a continuation of the same tired policies. Labour, too, is far from immune. While their vote share increased marginally, the modest uptick of 0.7% fails to mask the reality. The Labour Party is still struggling to resonate with large swathes of the electorate. The party that once prided itself on being the voice of the working class is now being overtaken by a new force that speaks directly to the frustrations of ordinary Britons. Labour's leadership under Sir Keir Starmer is increasingly seen as detached and incapable of leading the charge for meaningful change. In many ways, Starmer's Labour is the party of inertia, unwilling to rock the boat or challenge the entrenched political and economic systems that have left millions of working-class citizens behind. The Conservatives, on the other hand, find themselves in a position where their hold on power is increasingly fragile. With their share of the vote plummeting by more than 10% in Sutton, it is clear that the public's patience with the Tories is wearing thin. The Conservative Party, which once prided itself on being the party of economic stability, has become synonymous with failed policies and broken promises. The Tories' inability to address the real concerns of the British public, from housing to healthcare to the cost of living, has opened the door for parties like Reform UK to step in and offer an alternative. The Conservatives may have once dominated the political landscape, but their grip on power is slipping. Reform UK's rise is an indication of how deeply the British public is dissatisfied with the status quo. This is not a victory for a single individual or a single party. It is a victory for a growing movement that seeks to dismantle the entrenched political establishment. The political elite may attempt to spin this result as an anomaly, but the reality is that Reform UK is growing in strength and influence. The party's message, one of breaking free from the political establishment and charting a new course for Britain, is resonating with voters in a way that the mainstream parties have failed to do. The upcoming local elections in May will provide a clearer picture of whether Reform UK's victory in Sutton was a flash in the pan or the beginning of a wider electoral shift. If Reform UK can replicate its success in other areas, the mainstream parties will have to reckon with the fact that their stranglehold on British politics is slipping. They will have to confront the undeniable truth that the British electorate is increasingly turning to alternatives, rejecting the failed policies and empty promises of the old guard. It is time for the political establishment to take notice. The rise of Reform UK is not a passing trend. It is the beginning of a new era in British politics. The public is demanding change, and Reform UK is poised to deliver it. The days of complacency are over. The political landscape is changing, and the establishment will either adapt or be left behind. Reform UK has already shown that it can win. Now, the question is, how far will it go?